welcome to another FiddleHed fiddle lesson. Now we're going to do the tune Drowsy Maggie, and we're going to add some fiddle variation to it. If you don't know the tune already, learn the basic version first. I have a video for that, and there's a link to it in the comments field below. And perhaps you already know the tune, learned it somewhere else. Great. I'm just going to play the tune with some variations I've done and then show how those variations were added to a basic version in the hopes that you'll learn more about the process of trying to add variation, what works and how to go about it and how to practice it. Okay, so let's just play. I'm just going to play a little bit of it. 2 A's, 2 B's. Drowsy Maggie. So, the fundamental riff of this tune, you can't practice enough. Did I say that right? You just can't practice it enough. Rewind, say it that way in your own mind. You just can't practice it enough. You just can't practice it enough. Oh, wrong song. Got distracted. That thing. And if you think you know it, still go and practice it even some more. Alright, maybe it's easy for you though. I recommend having your first across both D and A. But enough on that. There's a beginning video on how to do that. So that's the basic way to play that part and focus on the left hand. You can also add double stops. So what I'm doing is I'm pretty much always playing the D string, but instead of crossing over, should probably have the bow view because it's such a bow heavy thing. Instead of crossing over to the A every time, you're going to kind of just dip into the A string. I have a video that will help with some exercises for this, what I call single-double exercises. But I'll put a link to that below. But basically, if you just do this a little bit, start with just that. First on D, then double stop with first on D and A. That's an amazing exercise right there. You think it's the most simple thing in the world? But if you just do that, that's fundamentally what you need to work on for this tune. Then if you just play that a bunch, speed it up. Alright, now let's try the riff. Notice if I just keep doing it, I'll start it down bow, then up bow, then down bow. We could do something to change that, but I recommend being able to do it that way, being able to do anything forwards and backwards. Now up bow. We're gonna loop that. Okay, that came before. All right, just talking to myself here. Okay, so another way we could do that. Another way we could do that opening riff is to add a slur. Let's do it single bows and add a slur here. An up bow, So what this does is then it sets it so we always start at down bow. So here we go. Let's loop on that with double stops. Sorry, let me just do that more slowly. Okay, so try those two ways out, see what works for you. If you really practice that one little thing, the rest of the tune will sound cool. Now, you can also start with a slide. Kind of two ways to do the slide. You can do it kind of like as an eighth note. So it's kind of slower. It's almost like a discrete note. The other way is just kind of do a quick slide. Versus very different feel and sound, but both cool. I don't know which one I like better. Fiddler's dilemma. I don't know which one I like better. So you just do them both. Do one once, one the other time, or one a different day. Who knows? Okay. Another thing you can add to this basic phrase. Let's look at the second quarter of the tune. Working on a new system for fiddle lessons here. Second quarter of the tune. We can do, here's the basic version of the second. We can add a Mordent. Mordents are two quick notes. So basically to this, we're adding a 1-2 really quick. Here it is more up to normal speed. Okay, this Mordent thing is hard. Let's loop it. Cool. All right. You can also do that with a double stop. I'll just note that, that's one across, I'm just going to break down each double stop. That's one across D and A. This is open D and open A. So this whole second quarter with the double stops looped is and so on. Third quarter similar to the first. All the same things will apply. And then the fourth quarter. All I add is another Mordent there. So instead of, we're gonna add, let's practice that one in a loop. So we're gonna loop it with the basic version and then the variation version. So basic, variation, basic. All right. You can add a double droning open D. I like to do them as accents. So instead of droning the whole time, that sounds cool. But I also like to do it as an accent. All right, so that covers a lot of the ideas for the A part. That was the fourth quarter we just did. Moving on to the B part. Let me think for a sec. Da, da, na, 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 na. So, B part, first quarter. Variation, basic version was. I think I'm just adding some double stops. So adding maybe some of the double stops on the offbeat, like da 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 da. So and just droning double stops. So there on this part, adding open A. Let's loop this. I think this is hard and worth looping. And going on. Here's that again. All right, so if you get this, the rest of the B part can run like this. That's a hard bowing called the shuffle, and I'm not going to go too much into it now. But it's basically we have three eighth notes slurred in an up bow and one quick eighth note in a down bow, and that down bow acts as an accent on beats 2 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can practice it as you will. I'll put a link to a video on the shuffle below, but you can practice it with scales like. So if you practice that with this scale, it'll come to life pretty quick. And so then we add double stops. And so on. So basically you could loop different. I think that explains most of what I did. You could just keep looping different things. Like you could loop the second bar. Let's loop it. And maybe you want to loop something smaller. You know, always be looking for a perfect little thing to practice and to get really good at, to get playing. All right, let's look at the... Here's the second quarter of the B part. Here's the second quarter of the B part. So I'm gonna add to that basic version a Mordent. did a quick 1-2 on that first finger. The whole second quarter. There's a video, I'll put a link to video on grace notes so you can kind of get better at that. And then I'll just add the double stop. And again. A little slower. And then it runs pretty much the same for the rest of the tune, rest of the B part. Up, and then there's the end. So for here, I add a little triplet. And then a grace note, a Mordent at the end. Here's the whole fourth quarter. And we have our tune, Drowsy Maggie, with all the additions. I didn't mention this in the basic version, but you could warm up with a D scale, warm up with E Dorian scale, and I just want to say thanks for bearing with me. I'm trying a new approach with these lessons. Let me know how that could be improved, but I've gotten some feedback and I'm trying some new things out. So, okay, well, hope you had a good time watching it. Have fun playing. See you soon. Thanks for watching.